You know, I watched Shark Tale probably like a million times as a kid and didn't really know what was going on. Just like seeing the bright colours and the fish and the sharks, I guess. When you see that shit as an adult, it's really a mind-bending experience. It's like the most Ratchet film ever made, and the plot is straight up some hood film shit. Maybe even a bit similar to an episode of The Sopranos. The rough outline of the film, and I will explain this in non-fish terms, just to point out how mad this shit is. Will Smith is in debt because he borrowed money off some guy and he can't pay it back. Turns out that guy borrowed the money from the mafia, and he explains to Will Smith that if they don't give the money back to the mafia, then both of them are dead. Will Smith's girl, Angie, she's the typical like loyal good girl archetype. When she finds out Will Smith's life is in danger, she gives him a prized family heirloom passed down for generations, which is of both high value in terms of its price and in terms of sentimental meaning for Angie. She gives it up to save Will Smith because she loves him. Will Smith pawns off this heirloom and then on his own volition gambles the money on a horse race and loses it all. Will Smith not being able to pay back the money causes his debtors to kidnap and torture him. Will Smith tied up in the middle of nowhere, being electrocuted. This is a kid's film, by the way. It just so happens at this point that two made men of the Jewish mafia are taking a stroll, and one of them tries to get the other to prove himself by killing Will Smith. But comically, this Jewish mafia member is a pacifist, and so attempts to scheme with Will Smith so he can pretend that he's killed him. This attempt doesn't work, and it aggravates the other member of the Jewish mafia into attempting to kill Will Smith. And while running after him, he dies completely by accident. Environmental circumstances, let's say. And then Will Smith, the slimy weasel that he is, he takes credit for this, and thus starts a Robert Ford-esque routine, where people pay to hear him talk about how he killed a member of the mafia, and at the same time he puts a target on his back, making the Jewish mafia come after him. I hate Will Smith in this movie. I fucking hate him. I absolutely despise him. But more on that later. Why does he do all of this? That's important to the plot too. See, Will Smith, he's from the hood in this film, and he has aspirations to make it out of the hood and into high society. But how did he gain these aspirations? From trauma. When he was a kid at school, the other kids made fun of him for wanting to be a blue-collar worker just like his father. Insecurity, that's what fuels him. Once he's finally made it, after a while he comes to understand how empty this life is, and how fake everyone around him is, and ultimately how fake he is himself. And eventually he renounces his fakeness and moves back to the hood. Now Will Smith, you know, he's not actually Will Smith in this film. He's not Will Smith at all. He's Oscar the fish, most demented, sickening being I've ever seen. Throughout the film, he is the slimiest, most fake, genuinely most terrible person ever. He takes no accountability for any of his mistakes, bigs himself up in moments where he's obviously in the wrong. He's a terrible impression on the fish children as well. Constantly lies and disrespects people, and he gets off way too easy for his crimes. I want to kill Oscar. I hate him. I genuinely hate him. Watching this movie, I always think about the various ways in which I want to murder Oscar. I want to smash his head in with a rock. You know, a protagonist is usually like imperfect and flawed, but then they also have likable and charming characteristics to balance it out. Not Oscar though. Oscar doesn't have any of those charming personality traits. He is complete scum who deserves death. Also, look at him. He looks disgusting. Why does he look like that? He doesn't even look like a fish. He looks like Central Sea or something. Most of the fish in this movie don't look like fish really. They have the bodies of fish, but the faces don't fit onto the bodies at all. They're like totally twisted looking. The film generally is quite disgusting to behold. I feel like it's kind of the style though. They in the ghetto and like cleaning filthy whales and shit, so can't really shit on it too much in that regard. But I mean, look at this little shrimp dickhead. I hate the way he looks. I want to fucking kill him. I would crush this shrimp's head.
I'd crush it, yeah.
Between my fingers. I wouldn't even eat it. I'd just waste it. You know what I mean? I'd just crush it between my fingers.
I'd fucking rip his head off. I'd pluck his eyes out with my teeth, make him feel it.
There is of course another side to this film though, and that's the sharks that make up the Jewish mafia. I mean, they're like stereotypical Italian Americans, but there's a couple lines that make it clear they're Jewish. I mean, Robert De Niro says oy vey at some point. Oh yeah, I should probably mention, it's insane the people they got to play these sharks. Yeah, Robert De Niro plays the Don Shark. Then a bunch of the sharks are actually played by actors from The Sopranos. You got the Christopher Moltisanti shark. Not even kidding. It's like my favourite part of the film. Sharks swimming around saying shit exactly how Christopher Moltisanti says it. Phil Leotardo shark as well. And then the sharks, they got an octopus rolling with them too. And he's voiced by Big Pussy. I fuck with the octopus too. What I think this movie really needs is an Adriana shark though, who bugs Christopher constantly. I think that would be pretty funny. Generally, I fuck with the sharks because they have like honor. They have respect for each other. Whereas the world of fish that we are shown is just complete scum through and through, save a couple of them I guess. I think the sharks would have been justified in wiping these guys out even, but they don't roll like that. They have code. Honestly, way more likable than the fish. You got Lenny, who is played by Jack Black, and you know he kinda sucks because Jack Black kinda sucks, but he's like the only real one in this whole movie. Lenny stands on his principles, no matter what. And yeah, he's a loser, but he owns it. He doesn't let the mockery stop him from following his own path in life. Lenny is a pacifist. He's a vegetarian. And you know, that did make me think like, Lenny is a grown man in this film. Or grown shark. Multiple times in this film he eats fish, and it makes him vomit. So I got to thinking like, what has he been doing up to this point? The other sharks, it's like they're trying to teach him to eat meat like he's just come into the world or something. Have they just been trying to make him eat meat all this time? It truly boggles the mind. You know, I've seen a lot of people complain about these sharks for being stereotypical Italian Americans, but like, have you not seen the fish? Most blatantly racist black people stereotypes I've ever seen. Feel like Will Smith did irreparable damage to the black community with this movie by playing such an irredeemable and scummy character. He affirms so many stereotypes, like being a bad influence on kids and cheating on his bird, all that. Plus he makes fun of them Rasta jellyfish for their accents, and that didn't feel right to me. Like, I get Will Smith is black, but are we really saying he's allowed to make fun of Jamaicans? That just feels wrong to me, like on a spiritual level. The whole film has this massive like racial commentary undertone, and it's a bit weird honestly. It seems to want to paint out all the people in the ghetto to be like total scum, and they're like majority of course meant to represent black people. The film doesn't really care. It's just like, yeah, all these ghettoized urban youth, they're all trash. Really, Angie is the only one who's painted in a good light, and she kinda stupid for wanting Oscar of all people. Actually no idea what she sees in this guy. Oscar is a fucking disease. I will say I do rate those Rasta jellyfish. They're alright. They got Bob Marley's son and Dougie Doug to play them. Also, I'm surprised I ain't even mentioned this yet. The fucking guy Oscar borrows money off is this pufferfish version of Martin Scorsese. Another fucked up looking being, just like Scorsese's face superimposed onto a pufferfish. Stuff of nightmares. He's absolute scum too, worse than Oscar even. His slimy snakiness is an inherent part of his character. It doesn't stem out of insecurity like it does for Oscar. Oscar, he's always cheating on this girl with this evil jazzy fish named Lola. And you know, you should never fuck with a bitch named Lola. That's a pure jazzer name. Probably has like herpes hidden under all that makeup. Disgusting bitch. You know how I said earlier that a mafia member dies and Oscar takes credit for that? Well, that mafia member is actually the Christopher Shark. I was very sad to see him go. He was like my favourite one. Way that man dies is being hit by an anchor falling from above, totally by accident. It's tragic really, truly tragic. But it does give us evidence of something very troubling, and that's that within the Shark Tale universe, there is also a human society living above the water. And I was thinking like, is there a real Will Smith in this universe? Like, is it supposed to be set in our universe, and above sea everything is the same as real life? Only there's fish Will Smith under the sea. Maybe everyone has their own fish counterpart. Crazy stuff to contemplate. Ultimately, at the end of this movie, Oscar convinces Lenny's dad to stop being a twat and accept his son, and all misunderstandings are cleared up. And you know, it makes sense that all of these guys can be chill now, but Catman knows the truth. Catman remembers about the fact that if Oscar didn't gamble all of his money away, then he wouldn't have ended up tied up in that desert getting tortured. And then the Jewish mafia sharks never would have come across him there in the desert. And then Christopher Moltisante's shark never would have been hit with that anchor and died. I understand how it was all Oscar's fault that Christopher Moltisante's shark died. And so fuck Oscar. I won't accept his story of growth. I hate him. I want to curb stomp the cunt.
Club.
You see this now, look. This dickhead.
Yeah.
Crawling back after he's fucking had his guys like take him out, fucking electrocute him, literally tortured him, yeah? I mean, this guy deserves it. But this guy's scum as well, right? I hate everyone in this movie, right? Like the sharks are justified because they're like wiping out this fucking gutter trash. You know what I mean? And like don't read into like a racial undertone to the things I'm saying. Okay? I'm just engaging with the substance of what's in front of me, okay? I'm not talking about a real life.
That's how the film was.
That's what the film is saying. That's what the film is saying, okay?
The film is.
I'm not saying that.
The young urban youth. The young urban youth who lives a hard life at the whale watch can't take responsibility. He cheats on his missus. He gambles money. He is a criminal. He takes credit for killing people. What are they trying to say? What do they mean by this? The mafia guy is a Jewish shark with a huge nose, who has a son who has an even bigger nose, who's like, yeah, you gotta kill everybody. What does it mean?
True.
What do they mean by this?
True.
There are serious undertones of this film that I feel like was, but this is like I don't know who directed this, but Steven Spielberg.
Who did direct this film?
I don't know. It's probably. I'm gonna have a look. It's probably Steven. I'm gonna say Steven Spielberg.
I don't think Steven Spielberg directed this. I'm not gonna lie.
So,
director by Bebo Burger. What? Bebo Bergeron is the director. There's like 3 directors. Bebo Bergeron, Vicky Jensen, Rob Letterman. Bebo Burgers. That's you can't make that up. That's crazy. Burger's son. Burger. Bergeron.
His name's Bergeron. He calls himself Bebo Bergeron.
Bebo Bergeron, yeah. This film is like random gags about hemorrhoids. That's how Ratchet this movie is. But yeah, that's about it for this video. Subscribe to the Catman Show. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Goodbye.